with or without Giannis, I'm favoring the Suns, but I give him a shot even if he misses the first 2 games. If he misses any more than that, then I don't think they have a shot because you got to figure it's going to take him at least a little while in the first game to get it going. So if they showed, I'm not going to overreact, and we'll talk about this later, obviously, to them beating a banged-up Atlanta team without Giannis. However, they did show that they are still a very good team or a good team without Giannis, and they've got other guys that can step up. So if they can go to Phoenix and split without Giannis and then go back to Milwaukee 1-1 for the next 2 games and Giannis is coming back, I think that's great for Milwaukee. They'd be in fabulous shape if that happens. You mentioned he averaged 40 points a game against them in the regular season. He also averaged 15.5 free throw attempts in the 2 games that they played them. So they have trouble guarding him. They're going to send him to the line. He happened to shoot like 84% in the regular season against Phoenix from the line. We know he won't do that. But still, that shows that he's a problem for them. So even if they don't have Giannis and they lose the first 2 games in Phoenix, this team, Milwaukee, has been in that position. Remember, Brooklyn had them down 0-2. So they can still rally from being down 0-2 going home. But obviously you want to split if you can. And look, they match up well with Phoenix even without Giannis. We'll get into it later. But Drew Holiday can guard either Booker or Chris Paul. Brook Lopez can be a tough matchup at times for DeAndre Ayton. So they've got some things that give them a shot even if Giannis misses a couple games.
So did I hear you correctly? You're going with the Suns? I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yes, you got me. I'm on the record. I'm with Phoenix.
Great.
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right,
I think that's the first time someone predicted Phoenix on this show.
Right. Got it. We don't talk about the Suns on this show. Yeah, whatever. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be quick here. Nick, the Bucks don't have a chance with or without Giannis. I mean, this series is over. Kenny Smith, Chris Broussard. It's over. It's over. So, look, the reason why is because of the knee. I'm sorry, I hyperextended my knee. Back in the day when I was playing for the Jets. That's a brutal injury. You could play but still not be effective and efficient. He's going to be able to run north and south, but he can't go east and west. He can't do all the stuff that he does in the paint, being able to dribble, penetrate, and do the spin. He doesn't have a shot to lean on. So now you don't have your number 1 move. You only have 2 moves to start with. Now you're at the free throw line, the 3-point line. What are you going to do? Well, he's shown us who he's been all playoffs and all year, so they don't have a chance. So when you look at this matchup, you go to the Suns, and we're talking about this as if the Suns are a bunch of slaps. They're not no slaps. All year they've been balling. Even in the playoffs, they've been balling. Of course, this is why they're here. You got the point guard. The point guard and Chris Paul, he makes everyone better. Their number 2 is better than the Bucks' number 2. You got D Book sitting right there who can easily go for 40 any night. And then you got Chris Middleton on the other side. You don't know if he's going to give you 30 or if he's going to give you 19. And then lastly, their defense. Sure. Yes, it's time to talk about defense. We've been talking about defense all year, and it matters now. Yeah, now it matters. They were really good all year. They were the number 6 defense all year, and now in the playoffs, number 2. So for those reasons, the Bucks don't have a chance.
Well, shockingly, if only someone could have predicted that defense was going to matter in the playoffs, the number 1 and the number 2 playoff defenses are the 2 teams remaining. They are the Bucks and the Suns, and they're playing in the finals. And by the way, this finals matchup, even though none of us, injuries happen. None of us predicted it, but we maybe should have. And Brandon brings up the fact that he did bring up the Suns as a contender. But if you look at both conferences, the Suns were the team that had the least question marks, but none of us wanted to believe in them. The Jazz had the question marks of the perpetual playoff failures and their best player isn't quite good enough. The Lakers' question mark was the lack of health throughout the year with LeBron and AD. And out east, Brooklyn, it was injuries and lack of continuity throughout the year. And Philly, even though I never got off them like I should have, we talked that their end of games, end of quarters, closing offense was brutal. The Bucks, meanwhile, it's like, hey, you know, we're not going to win 60-some games like we have in the years past, but we're healthy. We're actually a more complete team with the addition of Drew Holiday by far and some of the other moves we've made. So these two teams were the two teams that had the least red flags, I should say, throughout the year, and now they meet in the finals. Wilds, if Giannis is back by Game 3 and it's not, you know, James Harden back in Game 5 as a shell of himself, if he's back by Game 3 and anything close to where you expect to see from him if he's healthy by Game 4, I think the Bucks win the championship. I think the Bucks have been underrated almost how great they've been since falling down 0-2 to Brooklyn. They took an absolute embarrassing mollywhopping Game 2 against Brooklyn. And then in Game 3, Kevin Durant with a minute left hit a 3 to put the Nets up by 3. And it's like, all right, they're going to lose and they're going to get swept, and this is a disaster for Bud and everyone. Since then, they have been great. And they have lost 3 times, and the way that it has taken to beat them was the best game of Kevin Durant's career, the best game of Trae Young's career, and the game Giannis got hurt. 49 from KD, 48 from Trae Young, and the game Giannis got hurt, where it felt to me like they were coming back, and then Giannis got hurt and they let go of the rope. So if Giannis can come back, I think the Bucks win the title as long as he can come back, even if they're down 0-2. Broussard said 1 apiece. I think down 0-2 going back to Milwaukee, if Giannis is back for Game 3, the Bucks will win the title.
Yeah, so that's why I'm sitting Giannis for the first 2 games, Broussard. Because we saw that the Bucks can win with Giannis. We saw that they can win without Giannis. I don't know if they can win with, like, kind of Giannis. Like, if I'm on this show and I call up the producers like, hey, my allergies are acting up, but I really want to do the show, but I'm going to be sneezing and coughing pretty much like every other sentence. I'm going to be sneezing and coughing. You know what the answer would be like? Why don't you take it off, buddy? Why don't you take it off and become 100%? Because you sneezing and coughing all over the segment is actually just going to mess everybody up. We either want you not there so Broussard can do his thing, or we want you 100% there telling silly stories. Because here's the thing. We saw 3 guys sort of push it to come back. We saw AD, oh, here he comes, Willis Reed moment. You're like, you're kind of messing up our flow. He's like, yeah, I'm out of the game. Then we saw, oh, here comes Harden, the spark that they needed. And they do win, but without Kevin Durant, going crazy, they don't win that game. It's like, oh, he was a good decoy. Like, not really. He didn't make a 3-point, he had 5 points. And then Trae Young was also a shell of himself. So for me, I go the Donovan Mitchell approach when they were playing Memphis. Donovan thought he could go, and the Jazz were like, nah, dude, we're sitting you. And he's fired up. But next thing you know, his ankle got a little more rest, and they ran off and won 6 straight games. So I would sit Giannis regardless of if he comes to me and say, hey, I can kind of go. Like, well, if you feel good now, you're certainly going to feel better this weekend when Game 3 happens. So I'm sitting him. Would you sit him, or would you sort of like feel it out?
It makes sense what you're saying. I mean, and I think he's getting close because obviously they're saying he's day-to-day. But I think day-to-day makes it seem like he's closer than he really is. And what does that do? That puts doubt in Phoenix's mind. So how do we prepare? Is he playing? Is he not playing? They don't know. So I think that was strategic. I don't think if you're Milwaukee, you pull the trigger on the decision of, you know what, Giannis actually can play. He's ready. He looks great in workouts. He's moving fine. But let's not play him. If he's able to play, I think at the end of the day, you got to go with him. But I don't think he's close enough where they're going to put him out there in game. I think he definitely misses Game 1. I don't definitely rule him out for Games 2, but I think he definitely misses Game 1. And then you see how that goes. If you win it, then maybe you can afford to sit him out for Game 2 and then bring him in for Game 3. But Brandon's got a great point, and he knows obviously about hyperextended knees. But that's the big question mark. Is he going to be able to do his favorite move with that knee? And if it just is a huge question mark. If he can't be himself, then they're in trouble.
We're going to be talking about this for a couple more days. Let's just end the conversation. It's over. He's not 100%, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.